I'm going to tell you why Cincinnati should still hold their head up high after this particular contest. And I'm going to tell you why the stranglehold that Alabama has on college football would actually be less if they expanded the college football playoff. And finally, the preview to the national championship game, at least from Alabama's perspective. Let's get it.
This is Enough Said Sports.
Hey guys, I hope all is well in your world. It is all well here at Enough Said Sports. Welcome to Enough Said Sports, where we don't do fandom, we do business, and where we don't make friends, we make money. We did it again today. Really exciting. Got it done. First of all, I want to start this video off by saying congratulations to the Cincinnati Bearcats. It was an amazing season. They don't have anything to hold their head down about. They played extremely well all year long. I thought they actually played pretty well in this game, all things considered. I believe that they hung in there as best they could. And at the end of the day, the Alabama Crimson Tide was just too much as far as from an athletic standpoint. Cincinnati just didn't have the guys to deal with those guys from Alabama, but that's not to disparage them. Luke Fickell did a nice job. Desmond Ridder had an amazing season and an amazing career at Cincinnati. So congratulations to all of you who are Cincinnati fans. Congratulations to the Cincinnati staff. Heck of a season, and I was so glad that they were able to make the playoffs this year, and hopefully it will lead to some other things. On the other side, congratulations to Alabama, yet again going to another national championship game. Their opponent is yet to be determined, obviously, but really, really great job by them all season long, with the exception of the one hiccup at Texas A&M. They've really gotten their act together. They played really well today. They definitely did everything that they had to do to make sure they won the game, and they covered on top of it. So kudos to the Alabama Crimson Tide. So let's talk about these Cincinnati Bearcats and what I talked about at the very top of this video here in terms of why I believe that the Cincinnati Bearcats actually prove even further that there should be expansion in the college football playoff. And I'm going to tell you what my theory and thoughts are on that, guys. And it might be a little bit of a different perspective than what you guys have seen or have heard. I believe personally that the college football playoff expansion would actually hurt the dominance of that Alabama, hurt the dominance of Georgia, hurt the dominance of an Ohio State, of a Clemson in years past, because I believe that some of these five-star athletes that are all going to these, major programs would consider going to some other programs if they felt they had a chance to win a national championship at their respective colleges, wherever it may be. You may get a kid in Michigan, go to Michigan State versus coming all the way down to Alabama, or a kid in Florida to stay in Florida versus coming over to Alabama or Clemson or Ohio State. And I believe that this would actually balance out the power in a number of different ways. I believe I speak for most college football fans. We hate athletes sitting out bowl games. We can't stand the fact that the power structure, the way that it is in these Alabamas, these Ohio States, these big-time teams, these Georgias, they're about dang impossible to beat. For a team like a Cincinnati to beat them would be, it's really, really hard. It's going to be really, really hard to see that ever happening in the history of college football as it's structured. If you expanded the playoffs, you would spread out the talent, and you would also cut out on some of these guys sitting out of these bowl games. Because if you have more playoff games, Kenneth Walker III probably plays for Michigan State yesterday. Kenny Pickett probably plays for Pitt if they're in the college football playoff. And I believe it would just be good. Not only I believe it would generate more revenue, more eyes would be on the sport. I believe that there would be much more opportunities for these different colleges to be in the spotlight. I just think it would be an amazing thing if the college football committee, the NCAA, whomever makes those decisions, will go ahead and do that. Now, let's talk about this game really briefly. Alabama just did a really nice job. We predicted that it would be a low-scoring affair. We predicted that it would be a defensive struggle. If you guys saw my video on the pregame of this particular contest, we predicted all of those things, and that's exactly how it played out. Alabama did a really nice job staying within themselves, running the football a little bit more. That's probably not their strongest asset offensively, but kudos to the Cincinnati secondary. They got two amazing corners in Kobe Bryant and Sauce Gardner, and they were just trying to stay away from them. For the most part, they did a very nice job running the football and staying conservative, staying within themselves, and I believe that was probably the right play for the Alabama Crimson Tide. On the other side, I really don't believe there's not a whole lot that Cincinnati could have done differently in this game. I don't think that there's really much they could have done to change the outcome. I think they really played as well as they could have, and I'm surprised that the game didn't get even more out of hand than it did. And so they deserve a lot of credit just for hanging in there with Alabama the way that they did, and good on them for doing that. I just don't see from a schematic standpoint what they could have done. It's just really hard when you got on the other side when you got such athletes like Alabama, and it's just a tough thing. So be interesting to see what ends up happening with Cincinnati. If Luke Fickell ends up staying within the program, long term. I really thought Luke Fickell was going to go to Notre Dame. He didn't end up doing that. He's there in Cincinnati still. I think it will be a very positive thing if Luke Fickell would stay there long term. And obviously we'll see who they have coming up next year as far as a quarterback, because Desmond Ridder will be going on to the National Football League. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the program. I hope this is a stepping stone for Cincinnati. I hope I see them in years to come in future college football playoff games. As much as I wanted to see Cincinnati win, we don't do fandom here, and we're loyal to our wallet, and we're loyal to ourselves as far as making money for you and for our channel and for what we do. And not to disparage anything or not to get anything twisted, I am an Alabama fan. It would have been nice to see Cincinnati play Alabama a little bit closer than that. I didn't think that they would, but nevertheless, it is what it is. We got what we got, and we're going to see what happens here in this Georgia-Michigan game coming up. I got Michigan covering in that game, covering those 8 points, and I believe it's going to be a dogfight. So we'll see what happens. Appreciate all the support, guys. Cincinnati fans, what were your thoughts? Let me know down below in the comments about this game. What did you think about it? And then also Alabama fans, what were your thoughts on the game? And how do you see yourselves matching up potentially with Michigan? If Michigan gets through, I already know from previous, what happened previously, what the thoughts are on Georgia. But I'd like for you to leave in the comments below what your thoughts are. Appreciate all the support, guys. If you love this content, please also join us on Patreon. Click the description box below and become a true fan of Enough Said Sports. Thanks as always. Really appreciate it. You guys have a great and wonderful day. Take care.